Johnny Walker, you know, I find Walker, I find like he has it. I feel like he has the factor. There's something there about him that's interesting. And when you're on your way up, when you're one of those guys, those media darlings, the fall can be unfair, right? Everybody gets pulled back a little bit. You get humbled. You got to restart your sport, re-strategize. You don't have very many guys going like Khabib where they're undefeated. It's all moonlight canoes. There's a lot of setbacks. And when you have the type of rise and expectation that Walker did early on, it can be unfair. Man, Walker went from not only the guy that's going to fight Jon Jones, he was the guy that was going to beat him. He had the stand-up to beat him. He had the height and the reach and the training to beat him. And the media was going all the way to Thailand to get statements from coaches and training partners about how good he truly is on his feet. I mean, right, we're starting to buy into this. He loses a fight. Corey Anderson stomps him out at the Garden. And it was a beating. It was a beating. But generally these things are, right? When somebody gets upset, when a fight turns out to be harder than they thought it was going to be, it's usually not tit for tat and we go to the judges. It's a massacre. And I only bring that to you because this was very common. He's got the media, he's got the support. I was at the weigh-ins 2 days or 1 day before the fight. The crowd went crazy for him. Now all of a sudden he loses the fight to Corey Anderson. He's not only not in those talks, he's not back on television. I mean, this guy's fighting so early in the evening, and even if it was televised, I mean, you still understand my point, right? The fall was almost unfair. And I only pointed out because he had to overcome that mentally and physically, and Walker should get a lot of credit. That's what a real tough guy does. That's what a real competitor does. I felt as though he really proved himself. So many guys will handle the media the wrong way. I mean, just for example, I have not heard, and even in my mind, I can't think of very many things that happened in that fight, good or bad for Walker. The articles that I'm reading, the conversations I'm finding myself a part of, and what I remember is the ridiculous things he said after the fight, trying to explain why the fight went the distance. And it had to do with people in Brazil, and he you know, they stay up late. He wanted to go to bed early. He wants to be out there. He wanted to prove himself. But if you go out and stop a guy quick, you haven't proved yourself. You got to prove that you can defend, that you can take a punch, that you have the conditioning, that you can do these types of things. Okay. This is what he says. So, and you got to understand, there is no shoots, right? There's no guy that comes out and does an interview and he's telling you the truth. Nobody. It's all a work. And the guy that gets closer to the truth than the performer who comes out there and is openly just trying to entertain, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing in that neither one is honest and neither one is straight. They are both designed purely to take your story and get your story over. There is no part of Walker. See, but this is where the problem comes in. These guys can never figure out. I mean, it's not as though Walker's the first one to slip and fall on this banana peel. The intent of the story is to tell the audience, I didn't finish him because I didn't want to. The finish signifies a discrepancy in skills. If I can finish somebody, there is a discrepancy. I am not only better, I am meaningfully better. There is a gap between us. If I do not finish them, then said gap does not exist. So you're attempting to explain that you could have finished them, you chose not to, and here's why. Now, that's not straight and it's not honest. It's an attempt to get a BS story over. It's just the wrong attempt. It's wrong because the problem is when you're selling a lie, if the lie were accurate, are you viewed better than had you told the truth? That's the entire point of a lie. No human being will choose to lie over the truth if the lie is worse for them than the truth, and that's what Walker did. if Walker was good enough to finish Smith, if we all agreed on that, we all agree, go, yeah, no, definitely. He was out there. It was cat and mouse. He definitely could have finished him. We don't look at Walker as better. We look at him as a dum-dum. We say, hey, stupid, you could have gotten out of there. Why didn't you? You put yourself at risk. You put your fans at risk. You put your family at stress. You put your bettors in harm's way. Why would you be so stupid as to stay out there in a contest that can be flipped as quickly as this? Why would you be so stupid to do that if you didn't have to? And that's where Walker would come back and go, okay, oh, wait, hold on. I'm actually not stupid. I actually don't have a bad strategy. It's not actually that my coaches told me to do something that ridiculous. I just didn't finish him, and I thought I should tell a better story than that. What is going on here? You know, it's one of these things like, how'd you even go down that road? If you're doing a post-fight interview, how do you even go down the road of something negative, something that you feel you need to cover up? How? Did somebody ask you a question? And if they did you feel you were under subpoena? Did you think you were like sworn in under oath to answer the question? How could you not build a bridge from their question to something that you want to talk about, such as who should your next opponent be? Now, because that wasn't discussed by Walker, he's coming off this great win. It's the best win of Walker's career. He just beat the former #1 contender. He just beat a guy that's done 8 main events for the company, okay? Instead of discussing who's next or who should be next or who you would like next, when it got turned over to Dana, right, when we handed Dana the conch, Dana says Walker didn't do anything to wow anybody tonight. Now, I don't say that to give Walker a hard time. I feel as though Walker's on top of the world right now. He's got his bow. I think he can handle this. That's my point. I don't think I'm being rude. He can handle this. But when Dana speaks about you after a fight, that is the answer. Right then. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till next week. You're going to find out right there in that moment, did you do your job tonight or not? It's a promotion. Are you aware of that? Well, I want to make sure you're aware of that. When I talk about did you do your job, you go, yeah, I got my hand raised. We're not in the get the hand raised. We're in a promotion. Well, I won tonight. We're not in the I won tonight. We're in the promotion. When this is over, are you going to be elevated or not? And when you turn it to Dana, you're going to get your answer. And it gets turned to Dana to speak about the performance. That never should have been a topic on Dana's mind. It's now a topic on my mind as well. But it's here because Walker brought it here. They could have turned it to Dana and talked about who Walker called out, who he challenged, and why. But he didn't bring that up. He didn't challenge anyone. He didn't offer what's next. He didn't try to move himself from the main card to the main event. He didn't try to take himself off. This is all his fault. It's completely his fault. I don't know what question he was asked that he thought he needed to talk about the people in Brazil and them getting to bed, and I don't know. I don't know what question he was asked where he thought he had to explain and apologize for beating the former #1 contender who's done 8 main events. Jon Jones took 25 minutes to beat him. Walker just beat him in 15. And he thinks he needs to go out and apologize. I don't know what question he got asked that he wasn't smart enough to deal with. And I will tell you guys that follow me until I am blue in the face, do not answer a question. Handle a question.